Welcome, dude, to yet another episode of the Blam and Eggs Nodcast. You know, it's just going to be whenever I release an episode is the way it's going to go. That's when it's going to happen. And that's all I'm going to say. What's up? I was talking to my grandma the other day, and she goes, I was just hanging out with her because I'm a good grandson, and
I forgot the name. Huh? Did you see the flowers? It's beautiful.
she goes, it's my mom's birthday today, the 19th. And I was like, oh, really? And she goes, yeah, except her birthday is in November. So I said, well, all right. Because what else can you say to old people sometimes? They just say stuff and you got to go, oh, for sure. That's things have changed. What else? The Super Bowl just happened. That's something. It's a big deal, I guess. Apparently one of the teams won. I don't know which one. The sunglasses, probably. I never know. I never know who's playing. I never know what happened until it's done. Here's the thing about the Super Bowl, dude. While I'm sure that it's very amazing to win the Super Bowl, I can't tell you how much the Super Bowl has never changed my day. I realize that's not like the most outrageous stance a person can take on the Super Bowl, since plenty of people don't care about the Super Bowl, right? So I guess if you know anybody that also doesn't care about the Super Bowl, maybe show them my podcast. Because it's funny and good. But Carl and I went to get pizza, and it took a little longer, and that's exactly how much it changed my day. Dude, some people think about the Super Bowl so much. Like it's Bates Motel or the originals, right? There's no story to the Super Bowl. There's no compelling ones anyway, you know? Like this guy broke his foot last season. Oh. And you gotta, I hope he, makes a recovery. Yeah, so the other guy's, gonna have to get everyone on his head in the game. Whew. Boy, I wish you didn't tell me the end there. I thought about this a lot, and I can't help but think if I won the Super Bowl, like on my own, like I was the only one on the team, I'd feel pretty good. And that's all. Right? Maybe because football reminds me of about 5 or 11 high school teammates who didn't really like me from the jump, which I don't think was fair. I feel like we could have gotten along, but we didn't, and it's fine. Got with 2 of their girlfriends, and they still don't know about it, and that's how you deal with dudes when you're in high school. Saw them both at the high school reunion, and all of them wore True Religion jeans, just in case you weren't already on my side. True Religion jeans, matching hat, matching shoes, and matching backpack. And you might think that they had hats to match their shoes and backpack. No. They had backpacks to match their hats and shoes. And that is real hate. You know, I hope they're doing good, but like if someone told me they're not, I'm like, yeah, you know, well, shouldn't color coordinated so much, you know. Dude, I bet all those guys get so pumped for the Super Bowl. Just sitting there with their chicken wings, each with like a bag of each with like a baggie of like bedazzles for their jeans that they'll decorate during halftime. It's weird, man, because as much as I've fully moved on from that, I do think about those guys honestly 3 times a day. And maybe I haven't gotten over it. But maybe you should have liked me at first, and then I wouldn't have done this stuff with your girlfriends. So, where I'm getting is someone telling you a team won the Super Bowl, if you're not into the Super Bowl, is like hearing the weather in like Yamagata is being sort of weird. Right? And you're like, in Japan? You're telling me about the weather in Japan. What do you mean sort of weird? And why even mention it? Or like someone tells you the Dow Jones is down and you're like, I got no money in there. You know? Did you hear about the Dow? No. Turn on the news. This just in, the S&P. Dude, change the channel. Click, dude. Get out of here with the Wall Street update. Let's watch the originals. Right? Either say something that's interesting or be okay with less talking. And that's it, dude. Silence is sick. Let's just be in silence. It's going to be fine. We're going to live through it. Something will come up and then we can talk about it. But don't reach for the Super Bowl with me, dude. Let's just hang. Because the guy who told me about the Super Bowl was like, "Yo, you see the Super Bowl? You see who won?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. It's Sunday. Chick-fil-A's closed too. Can we get some real plate spinning here? Or do you want to talk about, you know, simple pleasantries?" And that's fine, but it feels like you don't know me at all. And I've known you for 4 years. And we've never talked about a sport. Let's just get a little bit of silence and not talk about the Super Bowl, because it's not a huge deal. I just didn't realize we were on such thin ice topic-wise. But do a friendship a favor and remember how much I'm about to rip on you for bringing up the Super Bowl. And if you bring the weather up once today, I can't be held responsible. We're not friends anymore. I'm taking applications. Dude, you remember when it was hot to say you're taking applications for, like, you know, best friends or whatever? Taking applications for for boy toys. Taking applications for boy toys. I like talkies, the beach, and talking shit. If you're under 11 feet tall, literally break your phone on the sidewalk. It's been too long since I did this, and I don't feel like this is good. But it's fine, because you're still listening. Because you heard me say that. Dude, Rachel and I went back to Big Bear last week. If you haven't checked out the Big Bear episode, give it a watch before it breaks the algorithm. And when I say I should have been a professional snowboarder, dude, I'm being facetious, but I'm also sharing a truth. I don't remember if it's any good. So maybe I'm not a vampire, but I'm telling you I am. Just being honest. But give it a watch. A watch. Right? You could listen instead if that's your chosen method. Or just click on it a bunch of times to help me out, honestly. Because it takes about 28 hours to cut the video together for YouTube. And I'm pretty sure, bananas grow faster. So if no one watches it, what's the point? Well, you're learning how to edit, maybe one day, the movies. Dude, I had a lady tell me that one time, and that's no joke. She asked about the podcast. She was like, how many people watch it? And I was like, well, none. And I don't care about that anymore, because people used to ask, like, how's stand-up going? Like, bad. What are you talking about?
Oh, fuck. I spent too long on that. Shit! Dude, Joe books me sometimes. And these are all the shows I do. And I work really hard on my material. And then I fuck around. The last show I did. And he warns me too. Every time I see him, he's like, taps me on the ass, like, don't fuck around. I won't, Joe. I won't let you down. I'll tell you what it is, though. I did an open mic before this, and I was gonna do the material that I did at the open mic. Dude, no. It didn't work at all. But here it goes.
How many people watch the podcast? None. And then she said, well, you're learning to edit. And then she said, maybe one day, the movies. The movies. Like, capital T, capital M, the movies. And on one hand, it was nice to hear, I was like, someone sees it.
I don't know if people have an opinion about Dayton, but I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
I think Dayton's fantastic.
On the other hand, I'm like, you think so? You think Michael Bay is going to run out of friends, right? Then stumble upon my It's Good to Be Korean episode, right? Unless I never post this. It doesn't matter. The other thing I've been working on. Oh yeah, I like what he did. I love the way he turns nothing into something that's also nothing. Right? Maybe he'll want to edit my new movie, Pearl Harbor Strikes Back. Pearl Harbor Strikes Back, dude. I just saw Oppenheimer. That's kind of Pearl Harbor Strikes Back, if you think about it. Anyway, thank you for the vote of confidence, lady I won't name, but I'm not going to edit the movies. And it's fine, but at best, I'm going to edit my stand-up special. It'll be 28 minutes, and I'll be proud of it, but Tubi's going to have it so packed full of ads that none of the jokes land. Mostly because there are no jokes. It's filled with 2 14-minute stories with State Farm and Pepsi jammed in between. State Farm would be a sick sponsor. I'd be that guy. State Farm over Pepsi. As long as I could do the ads. What's up? It's State Farm. Did your fucking house burn down? Something like that. What was I talking about, dude? The lady who had faith in me, right? Okay. There are 2 things I can't receive with grace. I try my best, and I just can't do it. There are two things I can't receive with grace: compliments and encouragement. Also GIFs for some reason as of late. But it takes everything I have to just take a compliment and skip to the gratitude portion of my response. I always do it because it's good decorum, and I hate people that don't. But, you know, it's the polite thing to do to just say thank you. But in my head, I got to reason with myself and convince myself that they wouldn't come up to me and give this compliment if they didn't sort of believe it. Right? Unless we were like backed up against a wall together and like they had to find some, like they recognized me and then needed something to say because they just saw me on stage, right? Because it's not like they can get anything from the compliment, given the nature of the compliment. Here's the compliment. I got this one the other night. It was after a show. A guy came up to me and he was like, "Hey man, you did a great job. I think you're going to go somewhere." And I didn't even hear the rest, to be honest with you, because in my head, I'm going like, yeah, I'm going back to my car to bang my head against the steering wheel. Maybe tonight I'll get the lamination to crack. You know? Sometimes I wonder what it's like to explode. But, you know, thanks for coming, though. You want me to sign something? I'm definitely not there. You can't do that. I do a good job just sticking to the thank you because, you know, I'll get those compliments sometimes, dude. Not blowing smoke, but sometimes you just want to like let loose and tell the truth. You know? Like, "Hey man, I like what you're doing." You do it then. Right? Thanks for coming, but you can't just say what you really mean sometimes when you get off stage. You got to get out of that gear. Because you spent 10 minutes on stage just saying what you wanted to say. And that's what they're there for. And it's a different thing when you get off stage and people start talking to you. Which, all of it to say, you can't doubt your set in front of the purple. You can't doubt your set in front of the purple, dude. You can't doubt your set aloud to the people who just saw it when they compliment you. Unless you had the set that makes you consider quitting, which I haven't had yet, but I've heard lots about, and I'm looking forward to it. You can't list your own critiques about your own set because, one, no one is as interested in a set as the guy who just did the set, unless they're a comic. And two, people think you're fishing for compliments, and so few comedians at my level are fishing for compliments. They want to go back to their car and slam their head against the steering wheel. I think if anything, we think we did pretty well, but we will find something that could have gone better, and that means we're shit. But if someone comes up to you after a show and you say that thing about the steering wheel, dude, to a couple of people who paid to sit there, now you're telling them you're going to go, you know, hang yourself. Okay. See ya. You did a good job. Don't do that. You know? Anyway, dude, stand-up is going good. I think I'll keep at it. Rachel and I went to Big Bear for more days than my hypothetical accountant would deem necessary. But sometimes you got to pony up for future memories, which is what a rich person said to me once. I was a driving instructor, and that's what he told me. It doesn't matter what people with money say. Other people with money will hear it and go, not a lot of people know this, but that is actually how it works. Like the guy with the mansion was like, when I was driving instructing, dad walks out with in a mansion, right? And this isn't exactly what he said, but this is what I heard. He was like, kid, you gotta spend money to blend money. And I'm like, listen, kid, you gotta spend money to blend money. And somebody who doesn't have money is like, what? And then another rich guy will come around and go, trust us. Trust us. You know? Anyway, we went to Big Bear and it was very nice. There was snow and future memories, right? And coincidentally, $13 cheeseburgers. Rachel's a vegetarian, so that is good for me. I'll say this much about snowboarding, dude. It was snowing quite a bit. And we actually breached blizzard territory for a couple of days. And in spite of what you might hear, snowboarding is a lot more fun when you can't see fucking anything. Here's what I'll say about blizzard territory. I have a gripe. Surprise. It's a gripe regarding blizzard territory. It's a wide window, blizzard territory. I read blizzard territory. I'm going to stop saying blizzard territory. I read blizzard territory on the weather update, and I thought it would be like tornadoes of snow. And it wasn't quite that bad, but it was extremely bad. Because you can't see anything in a blizzard. And that's not the worst thing if you're just walking from one sturdy building to another. Like you walk from a Starbucks to a Wendy's. It might shake you up a little bit, but now you're in a Wendy's. But when you're snowboarding down a blizzard mountain, it might as well be tornadoes of snow. Because just in life, you need to see. Right? I don't know how people get through life without seeing. I know I'm not alone. But snowboarding, dude, you have to see. You need to see. When you're snowboarding, you need to see clear and far. Otherwise, you fall off a mountain. Like all those guys who try to free climb El Capitan. Why, I don't know. Check. Fucker. He fell off a mountain. And they're like, can you believe he fell off a mountain? He was free climbing. You're like, off the mountain? Yeah. I believe, dude. As far as fun factor, though, right? It's actually good news when you can't see where you're going. Because when you fall, and you're gonna, because you can't see, you're either falling off a mountain, which sucks in its own way because you die, right? Or you're going to fall and land in soft snow that's honestly up to your belly button. And I don't know how people stand. I don't know how I stood, but I stood, dude. You fall down, you get back up. Falling in soft snow up to your belly button is a sensation I got used to the first time it happened. And I've been chasing that dragon ever since, dude. Falling in snow that's up to your belly button is a lot like falling into bed. If your bed was made of cold boobs. Chilly, but soft. I know chilly boobs are hard, but hey, it's me, the real guy. I'm editing the podcast, and I wanted to let you know, thanks for watching. I wanted to let you know that I know that chilly boobs are not necessarily hard boobs. And that I have felt boobs. So, back to the episode. Why do I have a podcast? Falling in boob snow is akin to falling in love. It's delightful. It's delightful. But it's also a motherfucker because you can't get back on your feet. Because how often are you stuck in anything? Up to your belly button. Except maybe a seatbelt. And you're like, you fall in belly button boob snow. And you're like, oh, got me. Right? And then you try to stand up. You can't. You're locked in. And you can't go anywhere. This last time, I got stuck up to my tummy. And I just didn't even bother getting out. Because I knew there were like 40 snowboarders headed very fast in my general direction. And they're all dicks. So they're not looking. So I just closed I got stuck in the snow to belly button levels. So I closed my eyes and tried not to catch a snowboard with my spine. And I didn't, which is good. But when you do finally get unstuck, you're like, there's triple the amount of acceptable snow in my boots. How is it that we've been snowboarding for 7.5 hours and the snow in my boots is still snow? Rock hard. And my legs are on fire. How are there snowballs in my shoes and my legs are on fire? I guess I'll just be, uncomfortable on vacation. That's love. Here's something, dude. The weather report is as ass backwards as it gets up in Big Bear because they predicted 8 inches of snow that weekend. They predicted 8 inches of snow. How much did it snow? 17 inches. Speaking of unacceptable snow, that is triple the forgivable amount. I don't know about the science about predicting weather, but if there's 9 inches of unpredicted snow and I am chief meteorologist, first offense, someone's getting the electric chair. And here's why. In my head, right? Got to qualify it. It was really nice. We had a good time. We shared some special moments. And we're in love as we've ever been. But that's besides the point. The point is planning for 8 inches of snow and getting 17 inches of snow is the same as planning for no inches of snow and getting 9 inches of snow. Rachel and I are not the center of this story, which is 9 inches of unpredicted snow. We are a side quest. The center quest is a weather intern who went up to his, commander or whatever. And the commander was like, what? Intern's like, sorry. Sorry, you got a minute? And the commander's like, yeah, you're using it. Dude, such a bad screenplay. And and the commander's like chopping up a line of coke, playing, Club Penguin. Commander, how much snow? How much snow is in this cloud right here? People's safety and work weeks and vacations depend on your prediction. And the commander's like, huh? And he looks at the cloud, right? He's like 40 inches. And the intern's like, 40 inches, sir? 40 inches? That's a yard of snow. Oh, dude, that's a good voice. That's a good intern voice. 40 inches? That's a yard of snow. A yard of snow plus 4 inches? That's a code red. Is this a code red? Right? Insert a Mountain Dew. Is this a code red? And the commander's like, Simon, back the fuck up. This isn't the Pentagon, right? We're just at Big Bear. This isn't even Mammoth. Just put 9 inches. Jesus. He's just playing Club Penguin. Can't you see him? Can't you see Club Penguin? Right? If I don't go home with this Club Penguin chick, so help me God, I'm stuffing an office chair right up your ass. Down to the wheels. I'll stuff this office chair up your ass, right up to the wheels, and I'll squeeze your wife's tits. I'll blow your dog and kill your son. Dude, just the worst chief meteorologist. And the intern was like, you know what? That was way too specific of a threat for you to not have done that. 9 inches of snow it is. Fuck it, fine. Looks like 17 inches to me, but I don't even like this job anyway, right? He's just having like a mental break, but also a realization, right? He's like, I don't even like this job. I'm an artist. I build bears and chairs. And frankly, I don't like them in my ass. Definitely not up to the wheels. So the intern was like, fine, 9 inches. Fuck it. And then they put that into the news, and then people planned accordingly, and 17 people missed their flights. 14 ladies died, and 3 guys made a podcast about it. And guess who's probably still the weatherman? Because who wants to be that? Dude, I thought the weather back in Bakersfield in like 2006 was bad. I remember one day, I remember one day they had predicted 105 degrees. And no one batted an eye because Bakersfield. Later that day, 115 degrees. Now, did someone mess up? Maybe. But there's a great big ball of fire in the sky, and it does what it wants. I forgot to mention, look at this shit. We'll talk about it later. There's a big fireball in the sky. That's how you know someone's cool, dude. They forgot to mention the new shit. They forgot to mention like a new jacket. Like, oh, chick, anything, you notice anything? They don't do that, dude. They just wait for compliments. Forgot where he's going. He forgot where he was going. Fireball in the sky, dude. Killed it. Beat my own brain. Yeah, so I'm thinking about Bakersfield and how someone messed up, and, you know, people got really, I mean, who can you get upset with, really? Like, I don't even think the chief meteorologist, like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know this stuff, but you can't blame Kevin Charette for boning us on that one. He was a weather guy at the time, and he actually taught baseball in my league. He was one of the coaches. And people actually did blame him, which was hilarious. Because it's anyone's guess, really. But the sun does what it wants to, is my point. The real point, right, is it does seem like we should have the snow figured out a little bit better than the sun. Why? Because snow is very close. The sun is very far away. There's no telling with that guy. The snow seems a little more elementary. Having never predicted the snow. He's full of shit, dude. I'm just a guy, okay? I'm just a guy. But, true or false, snow is closer than the sun. That seems like a metric that we shouldn't take completely off the table. I'm out of my depth, but the answer is true. It just makes sense that you can predict stuff better when it's closer to you. That's all. Never went to weather school, but... oh. Dude, I'm sure that's so annoying to a meteorologist. Seems like the sun chapter's a little more complicated than the snow chapter. What else did I want to talk about? The thing about man-made snow is it has to be expensive, dude. Because when Big Bear makes snow, they make the minimum amount. They make the minimum amount. The cost of a ski lift is the same as a full day at Disney with a park hopper, but they skimp on snow. They skip on the number one thing that is the business. As if people are fighting that traffic for the $12 beer. They turn the snow machines on, they make one pot of coffee, and they turn the snow machines off. They're like, yeah, that should be good. And the new guy's like, but the jumps are still sand. Old guy's like, fuck them. Right? They should have gone to Mammoth. Flicks a cigarette right into a little kid's mouth. Come on, I'll show you how to make the lifts go too fast. Not enough snow, dude. Not enough snow. And it's like, dude, who do you go up to? Who do you go up to and just try to talk some sense into them and go like, hey, you know this isn't for just like looks, right? We're not here to take pictures. We're here to snowboard. Maybe you should point the snow gun at the edge of the mountain and create a little barrier, right? Before old ladies start to soar off the side of it. They're like, well, they signed a waiver. You know? Who gives a shit that 1,100 families are coming in to have their first vacation in like 6 years, not knowing that they're paying Disneyland prices for 8 inches of faux snow, right? Just scantily sprayed across wherever, across this otherwise totally regular mountain. We're in California, so it's 80 degrees. It's 68 degrees, but, you know, it ain't snowing at 68 degrees. So compensate. I don't know if this is a good podcast, but just imagine you're a father even if you're a mom, imagine you're a father. Because the dad's the one that works. And just saying stuff I don't mean. You're a mom or a dad, fine. You're working your ass into the ground. You're working your dick into the ground. My dad used to say that. That was the best. 365, you're working your dick into the ground. And your boss finally gives you the PTO you've been waiting on, right? So you can take your shitty little kids to Big Bear. Because you want them to experience stuff. And also, the parents think that you beat your kids. So you got to take them out. So you can show them pictures. Hey, don't you hit your kids? No, look. We went snowboarding. 3 hours into your very first day on vacation, your poor little 6-year-old snaps her tiny arm on the handlebar of a bicycle because it was left there last summer, and that's what they do. They bicycle. They bike around. They BMX and stuff. Now, that wouldn't have happened if you got your money's worth. If they just left the snow machines on, they probably would have buried the bike in about 40 minutes. But now, your vacation is over, and other parents will definitely think you beat your kids. And you just tried to do a good thing, dude. All because of the corporate dicks at Big Bear, whose ancestors probably stole Big Bear, don't want to spring for extra snow. But I get it, dude. Fucking freezing water is expensive. Pay for the snow because we paid for the snow. Fucking idiots. And then later that night, right, they pull out these giant tractors with a rake in the back to pack all the snow down. And there's not that much. But this way, they don't have to turn the machines on for another 6 weeks. The snow freezes over. You don't notice it's pure ice until you're flying down this mountain at 8 a.m. Dude, falling on packed snow is like falling down a concrete mountain. At 8 a.m. I'll fall down a mountain at 3 p.m., dude. I've got my wits about me, but my point is, you can go to Big Bear for some man-made snow and forget why you're pissed on vacation. And then it'll hit you, and you're like, oh, maybe it's because I fell on downhill concrete 15 times today. I'm riding the bunny slopes from now on, dude. And Rachel can just deal. Because 29 feels like 48 at 8 a.m. And I can't explain it to her. She's going to have to figure it out on her own. Girl keeps me young, but not at 8 a.m. One thing I really enjoy watching is Rachel snowboarding because she's getting very good. Not as good as me, but because I do the jumps. And she doesn't do the jumps, so I'm better than her. And she can't do the jumps because she's a girl. And but I'd put her up against any non-professional, non-boy snowboarder who doesn't do the jumps. She's getting very good, though. It's cool to see because while all the other boyfriends are just moving the slowest they've ever moved, trying to keep their goofy girlfriends upright, my girlfriend is straight up shitting on the faces of all the other girlfriends who also don't do the ramps. Right? Some of the girls are very good. And is it intimidating? It can be. The only downside to Rachel's snowboarding skills is, while we're going down the mountain, I got to turn around and constantly apologize to everyone around us because she learned from the best. I got to be like, sorry, she learned from the best. And then I just do jumps. It's a good time, man. Just doing jumps. There was a point when it occurred to me that Rachel and I both, beginners at one point, are now here to inspire. The thing about that, though, is some people just want to have a fine time. They don't need inspiration. They're just cool being regular. But sometimes when someone who thinks they're cool being regular starts to feel inspired, what can closely follow is profound insecurity. And boy, did we see that, dude, at Big Bear, with Rachel just shitting. With Rachel just shitting all over the place. And then the not so awesome get a little insecure. And that's why stupid people scream, because they don't understand. You got to put the work in, dude. That's why stupid people scream and shoot people, honestly. So where I'm getting is, after one of the runs, I pulled Rachel aside and I was like, hey, I know we're kind of the dream team super couple right now. I'm Shaun White, because I do jumps. And you're Nina Dobrev. But do you think we should tone it down a little bit? Because we're going real fast. And I don't know if you have noticed, but there was actually a line of people calling the police. Others threw snowballs a couple runs ago. I don't know if you caught that. And she was like, yeah, I think there were rocks inside. Which is true. They threw rocks. They threw rocks at us, which didn't end up mattering because you can't throw rocks at the speed of light. And that's how fast we were going to. Someone came up to us and was like, hey, you're going the speed of light. This place isn't for you. So we got back on the lift and I was like, hey, how about we settle down? Let's settle down a little bit. Let's give these guys a break. I know they're amateurs. Let's go get some hot cocoa. Maybe one of those $13 vegan cheeseburgers. Like the old days. And she says, you mean the days where I wasn't fucking sick? Right? And then she grabbed me by the neck and was like, why aren't you here for cocoa? We're here to inspire. Dude, and then she jumped off the lift and she acid dropped into the half pipe, dude. She didn't even buckle in her other foot. She just resumed shitting on all your girlfriends, dude, with one foot. Oh. So, sorry if you were at Big Bear. I can't control her, dude. She's too strong. I'm stronger because I do the jumps, but thanks for tuning in. I'm doing my best. I got some stuff going on, and some of it's exciting, and I'll talk to you about it soon. But check out the Patreon. See ya. Thanks for listening to the Spam and Eggs podcast.
I'm a motherfucking nasty pal. What's good, bitch? You know what it is. Face down, ass up while I handle my biz.